Folks, before we even get started here today, we have a remote for this camera that you're seeing us on.
Yep.
And where was that?
It was in the bag.
Nice. That
the
means
whole time.
we can do things from here. We don't have to get up.
Look. You can. This part's gonna be great for the audio only listeners.
Yeah.
They're gonna love this part. So we just zoomed.
Yes, that was a zoom. So
And you can take a photo too. Like I hit the photo button.
Nice.
I don't know if that did anything.
I don't either.
Did it look like it did?
It didn't look like it did anything, but I don't know how it works.
Me neither.
It didn't stop recording, so.
Well.
But I will say, if you are one of our audio listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
This is Bacon Is My Podcast.
Yes.
I'm Jimmy G from Craving Strange.
And I'm Mike Wayman from Something Heavy, and we together.
Our bacon is my passion.
A conglomerate.
Yes.
I feel weird because I'm holding the remote and I
sort of
almost dropped
the remote.
it. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. Should I put it in my pocket?
You can just hold it.
I should no, because
then you're going to do
fidget it.
Then the whole thing's going to be
fidget with it.
Zoom in, zoom out.
Right.
So maybe pocket it.
Zooming in, zooming in, zooming out. It's too bad we don't have a swivel on this.
Oh yeah, you figure that out.
Okay.
But yes, if you are listening, wherever you are listening, if it's on Apple, give us 5 stars. Not because we deserve it, but because it helps more people hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we can always work to earn 5 stars. We'll get there, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll attempt.
It's better to ask everybody else to work for you, though.
This is true. So yeah, give us 5 stars. It's
5
like
stars.
Easy. It's a click. And if you're not listening to us audibly, and you are watching the special limited edition, I don't know if it's limited edition. It might go on forever, but the visual version.
So far, I mean, I think
our vodcast.
The vodcast. So I think what we were brainstorming here was that we're gonna probably do limited video stuff, but we have to have something cool to do.
Yeah. These first few, as you've checked out, if you've been playing along, have pretty much just been the video version because we set up a camera and we just kind of talk in front of the camera. But we are working on some ideas to make it a little more interactive, a little more
interesting.
Interesting. Little cliffhangers here and there.
Yeah,
something like that.
We're pretty good at that.
So if you're watching this on Strangerhood TV, either strangerhoodtv.com or youtube.com/strangerhoodtv, then ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Subscribe.
Subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. If you don't like us, just turn it off. Don't hit the thumbs down.
Yeah, that's just
discouraging. That's mean.
Just mean. Why would we want people to do?
We're trying to follow our dreams, folks.
Yeah.
Are you just trying to discourage us from following our dreams?
As musicians, we have always wanted to learn how to edit video and do a podcast where we just talk.
Lies.
But that is what we are.
That's what we have to do. Here we are.
Are you a musician? Learn how to sell T-shirts.
Yeah. Well, we got to do that
too. Design hoodies.
Yeah,
Brought to you tonight by CravingStrange.net, where you can get brand new Craving Strange embroidered hoodies. And those things are selling, man.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of pictures, a lot of selfies with them.
I'm blown away.
The interior is very soft.
It is. It's very fuzzy. It's very soft. I wish we made more money from them, but I'm amazed.
It's a quality product.
It is. It is a very quality product, and I'm really pleased with. People are really liking them. Which is awesome.
We were talking about this last week off the air about how you were going to do that for the people who want it to be, a nice quality product, and still has a little bit of a shout out for the band, but it's not like a huge, like a blah. kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you were going to make the cheap sweatshirts with the giant logo to make it real obnoxious and stuff. I'm still just waiting for those.
Well, they will be coming out shortly, or maybe they're out already.
Probably,
depending on when you're looking at this. Actually, whenever you see this, they'll be out already.
Cool.
They'll be out already.
That's the one I want,
soon.
because besides spending less money, which is always awesome, you make more money on it.
Well, here's the catch. It's the same hoodie. So the quality will be exactly the same. We just had to pay more for embroidery than we do for printing.
Oh, I got you.
So they are going to be exactly the same as far as
and you
what
will
the hoodie
make
is.
more money.
Slightly, not a lot. We're not like charging as much as we could to make more money.
Right.
We're
Right.
you know we're keeping up what we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't make a lot of money on this stuff.
No, nobody. We're in my garage.
Right.
We don't make money on this.
Just behind the scenes, folks. This is where the magic happens.
Yeah, if you want to make money, do the exact opposite of musician.
Get a job.
Entertainer, whatever. Yeah. Because we need the job to facilitate this stuff.
Exactly.
It's amazing how people don't realize that.
I've been bartending for years.
Yeah, bartending. But
are you a musician? Yeah. You in a band? Yeah. Cool, man. How's that working out? I've been bartending for years.
I have a 9 to 5. No, it's not a 9 to 5. It's a 7 to 5, and it sucks.
Man, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that. Guys, smash that like and bell, and so we can get some sponsors. So we can get him out of his 7 to 5.
Oh, please.
Seriously.
Please.
Seriously. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Nope.
Can you imagine if someone was like, you're going to get paid to do Bacon is my podcast? I can't even say it without laughing.
Yeah, well. Shout out to all local small businesses. Hey, if you want to advertise, we got some ideas.
Absolutely. Or giant conglomerates.
Or
we're happy to have you.
Yeah.
We will be a stock car for you.
McDonald's, hey, listen.
Yeah, Tide.
Jimmy will eat a couple if you
Oh man. I mean, sure. I never did that one.
No, neither did I, because I'm
yeah.
not fucking stupid.
Right. Yeah. When I was like maybe 15, 16, I still wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, you know what?
Still wouldn't have done it.
It's Darwin. It's and it's amazing how and the worst part is the parents are the ones who are pissed off. It's like, no, your child was an idiot.
Right. This is not Tide's fault.
You didn't raise them.
They make a quality product.
To make smarter decisions.
Yeah.
Tide obviously has like warnings to say, hey, don't ingest this. This would be bad.
Which shouldn't need to be there. Let's be honest.
It's just like the hair dryer where please don't put in the water.
Don't put in the water.
You know what?
But I think that's super obvious, right? But I think not eating a Tide Pod is even more obvious than don't put this thing you plugged in into some water.
You know what? You would think.
I think.
You would think.
Personally.
But hot coffee.
Yeah.
You got to have the hot coffee warnings.
Right.
Why? If you are going for hot coffee, what do you want it to be, lukewarm? No.
Nothing is good lukewarm.
Nothing is good lukewarm.
Lukewarm is not my band.
Pizza.
Okay. Damn it.
Shut down.
All right. That's one for you. You got one. Everybody gets one.
Everybody does get one. Yeah.
Pizza lukewarm. All right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But these warnings that happen.
I hate when I'm wrong.
It's all right.
No, it's all right. It's not that bad.
He's gonna try and get that one back by the end of this episode. I'm sure.
No, there's nothing to get back from that. You're just right.
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Other than pizza, nothing's good lukewarm.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I can think of a few things, but I don't feel like going there today.
Maybe a bagel. Maybe
bagels are okay. So if you had the choice,
I don't feel room temperature is lukewarm.
if you were to have a room temperature bagel versus a lukewarm bagel, you'd be like, no, you'd be like, oh, this is still warm. It was hot a few minutes ago. It's fresher than the. Don't say no, because you know it's right. You just proved yourself wrong.
I would rather
2 points for me.
I would rather. You know what? I'll give you another one, because I was thinking in terms of I have this bagel. Am I going to eat it room temperature, or am I going to cook it and then have it start to get stale and colder? Because as things that are toasted get lukewarm, they get croutonish
or spongy.
And I don't like either of those things.
No, those are bad.
So in that case, I would definitely rather go with a room temperature bagel. But I did not think the fresh bagel just coming out. Mm-hmm. I'm not a New Yorker.
So he says bagel.
So, yeah. Do I say bagel?
You say, hey, do you want to get a bagel?
Did I say bagel?
Yeah, you said bagel.
How am I supposed to say it?
Bagel.
Bagel.
Yeah.
I feel
Baygel. Bagel.
I don't feel like that's how it's spelled.
Well, you know what, Jim? I didn't ask how it was spelled. You're not from New York. God damn it, Donnie, you're out of your element.
There's a B in comb.
Yeah, there is.
Not in home.
Home.
Yeah.
That'd be stupid.
Is spelled the same as some. Yeah. None of it makes sense.
The English language, folks.
Yeah. It's a weird one.
It's a mystery. So we just went from sweatshirts to lukewarm bagels. But we're going to do this more often. And we're going to do the I had an idea for
we have ideas
doing watch-alongs.
Oh.
Now
that's fun. Okay.
Now my first idea for a watch-along is probably like a show that we used to love as kids.
What's that?
Any show. No, I'm just saying, in general, a show that we loved as kids, and then watch it now through the eyes of an adult or an age an adult, but still a child.
Right.
Because I'm pretty, or even a movie like that.
Okay.
Where you'd watch it obsessively. Because man, like I watched Ren and Stimpy at some point, and Rocko's Modern Life. I don't know if you were.
I like both of those. Yeah.
And I was like, man, I cannot.
Do they hold up?
I was like, how did I watch this as a kid? How did my parents let me watch this as a kid?
I'm amazed at how many things that I loved as a kid that when I see them later don't hold up.
No, most of them don't.
And then some things that really do. Like there are some movies that I really liked when I was younger that I think do hold up. Like the Crow movie. I loved when I was a kid. And I saw it recently and it totally held up. Right?
Yeah.
I totally got the same kind of like vibe from it. I wasn't watching it and being like, that looks awful now.
Well, you know what? That movie is also pretty grounded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gritty, it's dark. That kind of feel lends to the grounded.
I agree. But then I'll look at something like Jaws holds up to me.
Yeah.
Alien.
Yep.
Also holds up. Even like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
You know, I've been kind of getting into looking back at some more of those lately because Halloween feels.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of looking at those kind of movies and getting into them. But then I'll look back at I was always a fan of like total B movies, like scary horror movies and stuff. Movies like Night of the Creeps and like things like that. Those where they were just kind of cheesy when I was younger, now they're almost unwatchable.
Now they're
You watch them and you're like, ugh. Or you watch them and you're happy that you're watching it by yourself because if you were trying to show that to somebody,
they'd be like, "What?
You would be
what's
like,
wrong with you?"
You'd be like, we don't have to watch this."
like Killer Clowns.
Yes.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That's one of the worst.
The Blob. That was unwatchable when we were young.
Yeah, it was more funny then, and now it's just so bad that it's not even funny.
The Blob.
The Blob.
The Fog.
The Fog is awful.
The Fog is really bad.
The remake is worse.
See, they said enough with the first one. Why'd they go and make it? Why'd they go and remake it? Why'd they go, this could probably be better. Let's try and do this. No, the concept is shit.
Yeah. Now, here's a question for you. Do you think that, I hear a lot of people talking about how everything is remakes, right? Yeah. Everything's a remake. Everything is like a rehashed version of something else. Do you think that it's because we don't have ideas, or do you think it's because people are afraid to do something different, or do you think it's because when someone does something different, people just don't care and they'd rather they'd rather have a nostalgia experience than have a new experience?
Well, so
and I think it's different based on how old you are.
Yeah, so for me, this parallels a lot of the music stuff that we deal with on a daily basis.
Definitely.
It's almost an exact parallel. So, and so it's weird. So in a few ways, see, like for me, comic book movies, when they're remade, because I'm a comic book reader,
right?
You see it as a different line. So you had the Amazing Spider-Man, and then you just had Spider-Man, and then you had Spectacular Spider-Man,
right?
And Ultimate Spider-Man. So
right.
you had different timelines.
Yeah, there were many different takes and versions of the characters to begin with.
So to me, that was how I treated the comic book stuff. Movies, a lot of the stuff, there's no real need for it. You get a Longest Yard.
Right.
That movie wasn't even, I mean, it was old, but it wasn't that old.
Right.
Why did you need to remake that movie? So yeah, I think it parallels it because people are just happy with familiarity. But what's funny is, unlike music, everybody complains about the fucking remakes.
Right.
Oh, this isn't like the old stuff.
But yet that's what they go see.
But meanwhile, yeah, they come in droves. And it's the same thing as, cover bands, where they go out in droves to see these people just play these songs that they've already heard before. And as opposed to an original musician who's out there going, hey, listen, this is a completely different idea, completely different concept. This is my story. This is my whatever. And you're trying to get it funded by a movie studio, and then it's the same groundwork as we as musicians. It's altered quite a bit now, and quite frankly, the fact that you can just get a video onto Amazon Prime now, right, where there's very little qualifications needed, it's almost like digital music, where you can just self-distribute.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I think it's paralleled in a lot of ways in that way. But to answer your question, yeah, I think familiarity is just kind of, people seek that out and they're comforted by it, and to grasp a different concept is just kind of like, well, I don't need to.
So I've been trying to figure that out, for years, just because I've been I'm a musician that keeps trying to put out new things and trying to break through this, glass ceiling or whatever you want to call it, of awareness for people.
Right.
And I think that for a while, I thought it was just that people just weren't interested in anything new. And then I was like, all right, well, maybe it's the age group of the audience that my specific genre appeals to, that age group, because there's always new music coming out. There's always new bands coming out. There's always new styles coming out. And then there's always a little bit of an older generation that's like, it's not as good as when I was growing up. And that's gone since the beginning of time. And you get that in movies and TV and everything. But music, for some reason, it seems like more than anything else.
It's more prevalent.
Music, yeah. But I also have recently kind of been thinking about like when I was a kid, there was there was MTV,
right,
and there was Fuse, and there were shows on those networks that highlighted music, and they highlighted
new artists and new music. Yeah,
in a way, there was some kind of barometer. There was still someone telling me this is what's good.
Well, you're used to somebody telling you every week. You've established a rapport with them.
Well, and there's some sort of level, right? That anything new has gotten to before it got to you. Yeah. And now that level's not there. So there's no barometer, there's no milestone, there's no selection process where someone else vets it, figures out it's good, decides that they're going to put it out, and then it's presented to you in a finished form.
Right.
Because there's no vetting process, it puts everybody on the same level playing field.
Right.
Right? Which is a good thing because, like you said, we can put a song up on Spotify tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a bad thing because where you used to have someone on television telling you, hey, this band's going to be hot, or this song's going to be hot, or this thing's coming out, or I'm excited about this, and you put them in your head as someone to listen to, some kind of authority, because they were on a music show,
right,
or a music TV, and it wasn't like your friend or you checking something out based on the name of it or something like that.
Right.
There was some kind of authority that was giving you a heads up on, hey, this is going to be, we're putting something behind this, so you better get on board. And you were going to miss out if you missed it and didn't check it out.
Yeah.
Whereas now, it's like there isn't anything like that at all. So people are still looking at things from the perspective of the last time somebody told me something was good was this band that I know.
That makes sense.
You know, and they don't have anything to gauge it by now. And the only person telling you that, if the only person telling you that my band is good is me, I'm not an authority that can do that.
Well,
right? Yeah. You know, like I'm not that person on TV, and I'm talking about myself. So it immediately disqualifies me. But if I tell somebody that your band's good, they're more likely to go check it out.
Right.
Right? So I think a lot of it has to do with that we're missing that authority, so to speak.
Sure.
That opens the door and says, hey, it's okay for you guys to like this, which is weird.
Yeah.
That we needed that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. You know, you had the Matt Pinfields of the world.
Exactly.
Saying, hey, listen, this is... And terrestrial radio used to be that way too.
Yeah.
And
someone would break an artist.
Right.
You know?
And people talk about, it's politics, it's this, it was politics, it's money and this and that.
Right.
But honestly, I feel like it's more that now. Because unless you already have tons of money behind you, you can't even get close enough to the DJs or anything like that.
Right. No, exactly.
And to a certain degree, terrestrial radio is dead.
It is, and it's become like, I think you age out of it, right? And terrestrial radio aged out of being relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did is they naturally said, okay, the people that still listen to this are this age group, so we'll play what we played when they were
which makes a lot of sense. It's funny because top 40 radio, I'll listen to it from time to time just because you got to.
I want to see what's out there.
See what's out there. Yeah, see what we can throw on a cover video. That kind of stuff. And they're playing older music.
Yeah,
still the top 40 stations are playing songs that are year, 2 years old.
Well, or older.
Still. Or older, yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I'll put on the radio station, any radio station. If I'm driving cross country or something like that, I always put on radio, and I look for local radio just to see what's being played in different areas, because that always amazed me. What was popular somewhere and what was popular somewhere else. When I was younger, I just thought everything was the same.
Right.
But it's very different parts of the country.
Different markets.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll put radio on, and I'll hear an ad for the station that'll be like 2020's new rock coming up, and then the next thing I'll hear is like a Linkin Park song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Hold on. And I like Linkin Park.
Right.
But you just told me something new was happening.
Right.
You know? And I like, it just blows me away that's still how it is. And I'll hear that here. I'll hear it here. The best of today and yesterday. But I won't hear anything that's not 15 years old or older on that station.
Yeah. Well, it's something that I did, and I was pretty vocal about it for a long time. It was our local station here on Long Island, the Shark.
Yes.
And how...
Not a sponsor.
Very much not a sponsor. But yeah, they don't play anything old, anything newer than like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And then occasionally, on rare occasion, they have this thing every, I guess it's like 4:30 or whatever the drive time is, where they're like, hey, we're going to play something new for you. So you got one song a day for a week.
Okay.
That's a new song.
But it's a new song from who? Is it from a new band?
Well,
or is it like, here's a new song from like Guns N' Roses?
That's what it is. Well, yeah, they go, well, here's a new song from Five Finger Death Punch. And it says,
right.
And I say to myself, nobody wants to hear that.
Right.
Okay, so some of you probably do. Get your ears checked. But yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. But yeah, that's what they do. These already established bands, and they're like, yeah, we've got new music from the bands that,
right.
And yeah.
I remember doing, like I've done a couple of like the local spotlight things where I've gone and done some like interview type things on stations. And I went to the Shark once, and we did a thing where I played acoustic in their studios for something. Our manager had set it up, and it was there was a benefit that was going on, and we were part of the benefit. And so it was like a half hour dedicated to that benefit. So we went in, and they interviewed us, and they interviewed Mark Mendoza from Twisted Sister, and then we played a couple of songs. So I asked them, like, while songs were on, I would ask them, and I was like, hey, why is it that that there's not like a real local spotlight, and even aside from a local spotlight, how come I'm never hearing anything that's been put out within the last year or two? And what they just outright told me, they were like, because that's not what what our listeners are wanting to hear.
Well, yeah,
when we're asking, and when we can tell when like people are tuning out and tuning in, and how many listeners we have. Times that we've done things with newer music, people switch the channel, and that's always been interesting to me. I'm like, why is it that people are so not stuck, but just seems to be like they're more interested in hearing stuff that they know or that they own. And as a writer, it's discouraging.
Yeah.
But it's also just interesting, because I'm like, I wonder if it's like this in other parts of the country, or if it's like economic in the area, if people are just like, man, I'm working 4 jobs and I can't pay my rent and everything. The last thing I want to do is devote my brain to new music. Or
try and
play
learn
me
about
something I know and I like.
Yeah.
Because I need to unwind.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what happens at shows, like cover and tribute band shows and everything. It's just people wanting to go like, this reminds me of when my life was easier and fun.
Sure.
And it no longer is. So I'm happy to have this. And I get that. I get that, and I respect that. I totally understand it. But it's discouraging and frustrating and very confusing because I've just never been like that.
Yeah, for me, I am so for a while, when Spotify first came out, I was just super excited that every album that I could have ever wanted at the time, except for Tool. But
right.
I then when they decided to jump on the boat, I was like, fuck those guys, because whatever.
Right.
But I do digress. But I was just excited that I could get any album that I wanted, like at my fingertips.
Yeah.
And then
changed my life.
Yeah. And then once time went on, then they started, picking up the algorithms and the and seeing what you listen to and what you prefer and all that kind of stuff. And what I love is the fact that you go up and they go, hey, based on what you listen to, like,
check this out.
Check this stuff out.
I love the music suggestions.
Yeah. The Discover Weekly. That's one of my favorite. How I start almost every week.
Yep.
The Discover Weekly is great. If something catches my ear, all you got to do is click of a button. All you got to do is do that, and then you can listen to this band's full record or full catalog, whatever it is, or their most popular songs, or whatever it may be. I just love that. I love consuming new music, and it's just it's not the mindset of everybody.
I do love hearing new music from bands that I love. Like I just got a notification from my Spotify that was like, your release radar, like Bad Religion, Scotland music coming, and I was like, yes, I'm very excited about that. But then also, Discover Weekly is how I heard the Hawkins, which I think was a great record. I'm excited, and I listened to the record for a while, and I was really into the band for a minute, and then a year went by or something, and it's like, hey, a new record came out by that band that you liked for a minute a year ago, and it's like, oh, I never would have known that they put a new record out. I never would have checked this out. Who knows? I think I discovered I think Neon Trees was one that I got as a Discover Weekly, and I listened to that first record and I really liked it.
Another cool thing too is the daily mixes. So it takes those things that you listen to and it kind of categorizes them. But then they'll go, hey, you like this kind of music, try that on for size.
Right.
And I've discovered bands that way, and it's where I go, hey, listen, I don't know, this doesn't sound familiar, but it's pretty badass. And again, all you got to do, click, done.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
What an amazing, where we used to discover new music. It's kind of the same thing as what MTV was and Fuse was and things like that. Is that you have this thing that will allow you to listen to new stuff without having to buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that's worried about if I'm going to spend my money, I'm going to spend money on stuff I know.
Right.
And I get that too. I've been poor forever. So it's one of those things. I can't spend money on things unless I know that whatever I'm getting is going to be worth it or that I can return it. Those are the two things. So with Spotify, it's always this thing where it's like, hey, we're going to give you a bunch of stuff to check out. And it's as easy as just kind of going, I'll devote a couple minutes of my time while I'm driving somewhere to this. And it can open up like this, oh my God, I can check out this whole record now and I can listen to this, or the whole record's not out yet because this is a new band, but I'm going to follow them and put it on, I want to know when the record comes out.
Yeah.
And it's just it's such a convenient way to do that.
It's taken for granted.
I'm surprised more people don't, because so many people that I know listen to Spotify and they're like, oh yeah, I never really do the Discover Weekly thing. I have they basically took every record that they've ever owned, found it, and made a playlist of it.
Right.
Which is also cool.
Which is
also
great.
Cool. But it's like, man, you have this at your fingertips.
At your fingertips. You can,
from all over the world. You can just listen to stuff that
it doesn't matter what genre.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It doesn't matter.
And some of
literally
it's new,
has
some of it's old. Some of it's,
yeah.
I'll discover records from like the 70s that I'll discover a band like Big Star because I was listening to Cheap Trick to get ready to record something that was kind of in that vein. And it was like Big Star comes on and I'm like, "Oh, I remember talking about them with Dave Caggiano, our producer, our mutual producer."
Yeah.
And I remember talking to him about it, and so I'll listen to like a Big Star record, and I'm like, man, that's cool, and that's like old 70s pop rock, and it's like, I would never have checked that out because there's no other reason for me to ever be in the presence of a Big Star song.
Right.
But now I can, and I can listen to it, and you can discover weekly.
Right. You could do exactly that.
Spotify, not a sponsor. But should be.
Yeah, it should be.
Maybe you're listening to this on Spotify right now because I do listen to a lot of my podcasts on Spotify.
And we will get 0.01 cent for every time you listen to this.
Every time you listen to it, the third time, we will get 0.01 cents.
There you go. So listen to this podcast multiple times.
Just turn the volume down and keep it playing on repeat in your office or something while you just plug your phone in and just have it rolling. And you'll just be helping us out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
In advance.
Thank you in advance.
Or you could go to Bacon Is My Passion, put Death Be a Woman on, and that's just one song, and it's what, 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
That's it.
So if you go on your lunch break, so let's just say it's 30 minutes. That's 10 plays.
10 plays
right
at
there.
Lunch of Death Be a Woman.
We should do like a Sarah McLachlan commercial.
Oh yeah. In the arms of the angels.
For only 10 plays a day, you can feed. No, you can't feed him.
You gotta talk louder. I don't know the lyrics there.
Oh, he looks like a dying dog. Play it 10 times a day, please. There we go. I wish I had a better script, but
that's all right. I wish I knew the words. I knew enough.
Everybody knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
It came across well.
All right, so hoodies, Spotify, lazy listeners. Oh, movies. We were talking about why do they watch old movies?
Yeah.
And we got off on the music.
Why do they redo old movies? So I think a familiarity. I think I also think that there are a lot of people who go, well, I just want to make a movie. And then
if I do this, I get funding.
You can buy the rights to a script or a story or something and go, well, I can do that. Right. And maybe I can do it better or more modern or whatever it may be.
I can see that too because I definitely, like you were saying with comic book movies, and I get the argument and it's it's hypocritical to be that, but to be like I will watch every Batman movie. But Batman to me is like our age's Bond.
But also right. So you bring up Bond. So also with comic book movies, they don't necessarily play out the way the comic books did. So it's still
it's also not off one book.
Right. They take elements from stories which will please the nerd boys like us. But then they also put an original twist on things.
But those stories never end either. Like the book Jaws, it begins and it ends.
Right.
So if you make Jaws, you're making Jaws.
Right.
You've got Brody. You've got Clint. That's what you've got. You've got the story the way that it goes, and it was a book. Comics are serialized, so they go on forever. There's thousands of stories.
Yeah.
So everything's a new
even for
chapter.
Single characters. There's thousands of stories.
And so I kind of find that like when I read comics as a kid, I always imagined what they would be like as a movie. And I always want to see that. You're like, oh man, I would love to see like a live when Spider-Man came out. It was like I get to see this like real, not animated, and it was crazy to me.
It's mind blowing.
And so I was super excited. Do I need to see the origin again? No, I do not. But it was amazing to see, and to see the different versions has been super cool. So sure, I'll take that and be like, okay, I'm a hypocrite a little bit, but I like most people out there. I don't need to see Martha Wayne's pearls hit the ground ever again.
No,
I don't need to see it. We all know.
Well, that's what's great about.
We all know.
That's what's great about especially like the new Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
With Tom Holland, they kind of brushed up against it, and they just kind of said,
yeah, they figured you knew.
It sucks.
They figured you knew.
It sucks. I was raised by my uncle,
right?
But he died. It sucks, but I'm Spider-Man, and you didn't have to. He got bit by a spider.
Right. We don't see it.
It's nice the way they brought that in.
The continuing chapter.
What I do have to say is, and the new Batman.
Yes.
That with Pattinson.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it's year 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to see that stuff,
which is cool, and I love takes on those characters too, because those characters are such larger than life. There's such a huge volume of stories to characterize someone like the Penguin, right?
Yeah.
Or the Joker, as everybody's seen the Joker a million times now. But it's cool. I like that there's a bunch of different versions. I dig that. I'm fine with that. I don't understand people that get all upset about it.
Right. Well, it's silly. So for a non-comic book person,
mm-hmm.
Not having the understanding that we do, I get their point of view where they're going, oh, another Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
Another Batman movie.
Yes.
Different actor. It's I get it. I get it from their perspective. But it's because they don't understand that it's a different story.
Well, I bring it back to James Bond. Just because I feel like that's the closest example that we can give of a fictional character that has gone through many different iterations of the character, but they've never redone the same movie.
Exactly.
It's not like they did GoldenEye twice.
Right.
It's like that was a chapter in the series, and the person playing Bond is still playing the same Bond. Yes, but they're playing him in a different era. Maybe it's more modern. Maybe they're doing it in a different way, but it's still the same character. It's a different take on a different story. There's a different villain. There's a different storyline, and I like that. I think that's cool, and I like seeing characters come back. I love what Marvel did.
Yeah,
I thought that was just I can't even wrap my head around what it would take to create that and make that work over the course of that many years.
I just remember I remember them doing the first Stinger in Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
And Robert Downey being at the end of it.
Oh yeah, I was just like, what?
I'm sorry. Well, the first one was actually the Nick Fury thing.
Right. The Nick Fury thing in Iron Man.
And when he said Avengers Initiative, I was, nah, no way. But what really blew my mind is that here they go with the second movie, and they bring it up again, and I was like, man, it's on. No way.
They created an expectation for people to watch till after credits that is unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
Like, I've sat in theaters for non-Marvel movies and literally like gone on my phone during the credits. Is there an end credits
scene? I've done that before too. I do it all the time.
I can't leave if there's an end credits.
Well, so Disney movies, they've been doing that for a while now.
Yep.
I don't even know. Yeah, I'm sure Marvel's stuff came out, but my kids, they'll be ready to get up, and now with the Disney Plus, I go no, wait, and then I'll fast forward through, and then I go another minute of the movie.
Yeah, it's like a hidden track on a record.
Right.
You get that little nugget of something else, but it builds that anticipation.
Yeah.
And it drives you nuts because you know that whatever it just whet your appetite for is like 2 years away.
Yeah.
And you're like, God,
yeah,
son of a bitch.
But man, remember just being in the theater or wherever you saw it and going, they're not going to get an Avengers movie. They're not going to link all of these movies.
Well, I didn't even think that far ahead to think they're not going to link them. I just literally was like, oh, that's a fun little thing that they did, but I didn't even think there was a possibility that there was going to be a movie with all of them, just because I didn't understand, like it just seemed like a logistical crazy.
Yeah, right,
like,
right.
How are they going to? What movie is going to pay Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth? And
right.
Who's going to do that? Right. And I mean, we see it all the time in comics.
Right. You can see
when I was a kid, like there were crossovers all the time, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And every now and then in one of the cartoons, you'd get a character that wasn't a normal character in the cartoon.
You can draw people in, and you can have voice actors.
This is a movie.
These are likenesses. These are actual people.
Yeah, and people own those. You know, so it was like I just didn't think it was a possible thing. Yeah. And the closer it got, it was just like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is really going to be.
This is a thing.
And man, I remember going to the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And just before it even started, I was just like, this, I don't even care if it's good. This is awesome.
For that movie, buddy of mine, Dan, and I went to an all-day marathon.
Yeah.
Where we watched every movie. It was like 9 hours.
Yeah.
In the city. And we watched every movie in succession, all the way up to the midnight showing of the Avengers. Mm-hmm. And man, I was so amped, even though I was there for forever. And even after I ate, the best thing to eat there was Applebee's.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, the best thing to eat like in the area. No, not a sponsor. Twofers though. Half price apps.
Half price apps.
It wasn't half price apps though.
No, I prefer Fridays.
Yeah.
Bottomless apps.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't been there in forever.
I haven't either, to be honest.
Yeah.
I haven't been anywhere in forever.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. And then I just remember the stinger at the end of that, and it was Thanos.
Right? And it was like, there's more?
Whoa.
This is happening.
This isn't it?
Yeah, I had that same reaction. I went and saw Avengers at 11:30 a.m.
Right.
Because I bartend. I used to bartend on Thursday nights, and that's when all the premieres would happen, and I would be so pissed off, and I would be like, do not come in my bar after you see this and spoil anything for me.
And guess what I would do?
He would come in and threaten me with spoilers, although you never spoiled anything.
I never did.
Very happy about that. But I went in 11:30 in the morning. I'm hungover, but I'm so excited.
It doesn't matter.
So excited.
You feel nothing.
I got my pretzel nuggets. Nothing better to eat when you're hungover first thing at 11:30 in the morning, but pretzel nuggets and cheese.
Yeah. That sounds like a spectacular hangover cure.
Oh, it's fantastic. And like it started and I was freaked out, and I watched it and I was like, this is so cool.
This is everything.
This is so cool. And then it ends and I'm waiting, and I'm like, I'm seeing the beginning of that scene. And I was like, oh, cool. This is going to be, they're going to do another scene. I did not think they were going to set anything up, because I was like,
that's it.
I was like, cool. That was a great thing they did.
This will
never happen again.
This will
never happen
exactly
again.
what I thought.
This is amazing. What a feat.
Yeah.
What a success. And I saw that and I was like, no.
Yeah.
This was the beginning.
Yeah.
And to think now, to look back on it now and go, that was the beginning.
That was the beginning.
Like all those movies that leading to that was just the beginning.
Right.
And I think that I think that gun-shied people from putting out new movies because they're like, we're not going to compete with things like this.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Which I honestly think that sucks, because someone's got to do the next Star Wars. Someone's got to do the next Lord of the Rings or the next whatever,
Harry Potter.
It's where I see it. I see innovation and I see new ideas in horror movies.
Yeah, well, you know what? Horror movies, it's interesting because the rules don't apply.
Which I love.
Because even with superhero movies, and sometimes I do it myself, where you're just like, this doesn't happen. Well, you know what? People don't turn fucking green from gamma ray radiation when they get angry.
Right.
But at the same time, you go, so there's a degree of letting go that has to happen with a lot of movies. But you go into a horror movie, and I always said this because I was, again, like you were saying about the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street stuff.
Right.
I was a big Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I have all of them, like all the original ones.
And the remakes suck.
The remakes, let's not even get into it.
No,
but I have all the original ones. I have them all the way up to Freddy versus Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just would you have to go into a horror movie in your mind? It's not a thriller. It's not a psychological thriller. It's a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go, well, why did so-and-so come back to life? It's like, because they fucking did.
Right. Yeah.
Because
we got to finish this movie.
Yeah. Right. Right. Like
otherwise it'd be done.
Right. What do you
roll credits?
What do you want? What do you came here for a horror movie? What do you want?
Yeah.
The guy's dead already.
Don't question shit.
Just why?
Well, why do that anyway?
Sometimes,
if I'm watching a documentary, maybe, but
right.
If you're being entertained, people, allow yourselves to just be entertained.
Are you not sports entertained?
Can we just allow ourselves to be entertained? Do we need to question everything in a movie?
I just, I agree with you, but I find myself doing it all the time,
Yeah, me too. I'm a hypocrite. So why do you think, because I was super excited when I heard that the original monster movies were going to connect much like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? There was The Mummy was doing a remake. They introduced Dr. Jekyll in the Mummy movie, and it was going to spin off to his film, and then there was going to be a connection to Dracula and a connection to Frankenstein and all those things. They had Angelina Jolie was set up to be Bride of Frankenstein, and they were going to connect like the Marvel movies, one giant universe, kind of like they're doing with Godzilla and Kong and everything right now too. So after they released the new Mummy and it bombed, they kind of put that whole thing to bed. They decided not to do it. So I have my kind of opinion as to why that failed. Do you have one? Did you watch any of it?
I actually didn't see it, but I do have an opinion because The Mummy was the least popular, or one of the least popular of those. So when you think of,
unless you count, remember Brendan Fraser did the Mummy movies, and they were huge at the box office.
They were, and
they were fun. They were fun.
They were fun movies
because it was like Indiana Jones meets the Mummy.
It wasn't really about the Mummy.
Right.
It was about Brendan Fraser and this story.
Right.
It was about an adventurer. It wasn't about the Mummy and how you want to bring that mummy. It was always like a different story with a different thing with the Mummy series, but yeah, the Mummy, a mummy is not like top priority. Dracula, people love vampires.
They do. I love vampires. Yeah. We have a song in a vampire movie coming up.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. It's gonna
Evergreen is the Blood.
Yeah.
To be released by Polestar. I'm not sure when because they're still doing some reshoots and getting ready to make kind of a big splash with this one.
Yeah.
But I digress.
So vampires. People like vampires.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if they started with a Dracula movie, maybe that would have gotten a little bit more ground to cover, you know?
Okay.
Frankenstein hasn't been done in forever, but Frankenstein is very widely known. Very, you know.
Yeah, I know
I feel like that's a story that isn't really.
Well, they did a remake.
Touched.
They did a remake in I think the late '90s of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and it did not do that well. But I remember seeing it. I don't like. I saw it. I don't remember if I saw it. I saw it late at night sometime. I don't know if it was on some network it was on, or maybe online or something like that. But it was a movie from the late '90s, and it was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and it was more closely tied to the book. And I read the book a number of times. I actually read it for a class in high school. I had a English teacher in high school that had us read Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
It's awesome.
Back to back, and it was like, this is sweet. But they did it, and it didn't do all that well, and I think there's possibly two reasons. I think one is that when you think of those movies, and I think even when people that have never seen those movies think of them, the visual is so burned into our brains that to try and do them in a realistic way, I think part of that was a little bit of the cheese factor that makes those things kind of like close to you a little bit.
Well, so I feel like, so there are times, and I guess there, you know, again, I'm going to keep on bringing up comic book movies because it's what, you know, but people want, you know, for a little while, people were like, I want a gritty, dark. Once the Nolan Batmans came out, I want everything a dark and gritty.
Everything had to be
version of this, and then you got Marvel coming back and still embracing some of that cheese factor.
Yes,
they certainly do embrace it, and sometimes you got to stop looking at things like that as like very serious works of art, and look at it as entertainment. How will this be most entertaining? Right.
The literature, especially when you're talking about like Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, definitely literary works of art, and they are. They're extremely well written. They're amazing novels. But yeah, when you go to make them a movie, they were limited to what they had at the time as far as effects and things like that. But there's a charm that's there,
right?
You know, and there's this special thing. And I know that for me, like a vampire movie that comes out is more attractive to me than a Dracula movie that comes out. I love the story of Dracula, but I feel like I have seen it. I feel like I get it. I love in a vampire movie when Dracula is referenced, but I don't want to see Dracula as the star of the movie. Also, one thing that I thought that they made a mistake with those movies is I think when you have a horror movie, I don't think that you should have an A-list actor in it. I don't think we need Angelina Jolie to be the Bride of Frankenstein. I don't think Tom Cruise needs to be in The Mummy. I think that immediately for horror fans switches it off in their head, and they're like, oh, they're going to ruin it.
Yeah, they feel like it's going to be watered down, commercialized.
Which, nothing against Tom Cruise and Angelina. Both Angelina and Tom Cruise are awesome.
Right. But
like
but they feel as if it's going to be more commercialized.
What was that?
And it doesn't really appeal to the horror fan.
What was the Tom Cruise movie where he kept dying and coming back in the war, like the Alien War? I saw it so long ago. It's so good.
I know what you're talking about.
It's so good. It's such a cool movie, and I can't remember the name of it, and that bothers me right now. But like, knowing that was like super, like it's such a good movie. But then hearing that he was going to be in The Mummy, I was just like, come on, I don't want to see him in The Mummy. You know, like, I would. It just doesn't.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Yes, totally underrated movie.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I think probably because some people that would have gone and seen that movie had he not been in it didn't go see it because he was in it, because they just immediately think it's going to be something else.
Right.
You know, they think, oh, it's just going to be summer blockbuster.
He's going to be,
the story's going to be gone.
There's a mosquito.
I know. I heard
it's
it.
on your head.
I heard it.
It's on your head.
Oh man, I feel like. Got it?
No. Hopefully it's dead in your hair. You hear it?
Not now. You're going to hit me in the face.
No, I'm not going Okay.
All right.
So Tom Cruise.
My hero. Yeah, so I think for like them to do a whole horror series, like stacking it with A-list actors, I think is a mistake.
Yeah.
I think it's a mistake.
I
don't want to see, don't tell me that Brad Pitt is going to play Freddy Krueger. I don't want to see that.
Right.
I don't care, because you're gonna make me look at Brad Pitt. Right? Now, I got no problem looking at Brad Pitt. Dude's a handsome man.
Handsome man. Very handsome.
But if I'm going to see Freddy Krueger, I don't need to see, 3/4 of the movie with him before he got scarred up so that I can get a good look at Brad Pitt's face.
Yeah.
I don't want Brad Pitt to play Spider-Man because now I know he's going to be in the mask for 15 minutes.
Right.
I don't want A-list actors screwing up the visuals of the movies I want to see.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the thing for me was that was part of it for me.
Wrong
so I was
approach.
like, I think it's just the wrong casting.
I think budget too. I think again, you're saying you get these A-list actors and stuff like that. Movie studios shouldn't give them the budget.
Yeah.
Give
but I
them
think
a budget.
Sometimes the studios give them a budget on the contingency that, like,
right.
if you get a A-lister, because then we're guaranteed more views.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm like, man, just put the budget on the writer.
Yeah.
write me a great story.
Get a Chris Nolan.
Oh man, can you imagine if Chris Nolan took on like a Dracula or
yeah. Get a Christopher Nolan,
and he's my point. We like Inception, dude.
Right.
Tenet. I can't wait to see that. Yeah. I can't wait to see that movie, and it's unfortunate because I feel like more people would see it if they weren't waiting for something that they know. But the fact that he's there making those movies, I think is awesome. We need more of those, but it's just tough because people are going to keep going to see the things that they know. Yeah. It's why all of a sudden, like, Star Wars came out and it was a total, like, nod to the fans, say we're going to pretty much make A New Hope again. And that's what Force Awakens felt like to me. And so they tried to do a departure on the second film and really kind of like go into story, and people just revolted against it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, we'll get back to nostalgia on the third one. And they were like, oh yeah, you better. And it's like, what?
Don't you want to not know what happens?
Yeah. What? Wouldn't you like a new Star Wars story? Like, what's doing well? The Star Wars story that's like, do you want to know the story of the people that got the Death Star plans? I'm like, no, because I know how that ends. I don't. I already know that story.
Yeah.
I know it because, like Admiral Akbar spent 5 seconds talking about it in a movie. That's how much time it needed.
Yeah.
Now you're going to give me 2.5 hours of it?
Yeah, unnecessary.
Yeah. Like if I walk into a movie and I know everybody dies at the end, where's my emotional attachment?
Right.
I'm like, man, they're telling a really great story wrapped around, I wonder how they're going to kill them all. I'd rather not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
At least in a horror movie, the bad guys are going to win.
Right. Yeah, the bad guys always win. Well, there's always one or two survivors, and then the bad guys come back.
But true, at the end of the movie, that's what I liked about the end of every Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Was at the end of the movie, they're getting away, everybody's okay. The person just lays back and relax on a boat.
Yep.
And a little kid, Jason, pulls him underwater.
Yep.
Just like that.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, man. You still lost.
Leave him. Yeah. Yeah. So, with that.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm going to drag you down into the boat. No, into the water.
Into the water.
Boat. He's driving in the boat.
I'm driving the boat. He's Jason.
It didn't make sense. I'm Jason.
Yeah.
Or I'm like as tall as a kid. So. So once again.
Yeah, I guess today, movies were our bacon.
Movies were our bacon. So yeah. Ideas. So if you have ideas for a watch along too.
Yeah, let us know. Maybe we'll do like a horror movie watch
comics.
along.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
All right. We'll just get drunk and watch, I don't know, Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Maybe we can even do it live.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Okay. So if anybody has suggestions, go ahead and comment and
drop in the comments.
Go to at Bacon Is My Passion on all the social medias, and we'll have stuff about the show.
Let us know. And again, thank you guys so much for listening. We do appreciate it very much. We just do this for fun, so we hope you're having fun with us.
Yeah.
So like and subscribe. Find us on all the socials, like Mike said.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Follow.
Hit that.
All of the
hit
things.
The bell. Ring the bell.
Ding.
And I'm Jimmy G.
I'm Mike.
We are
Bacon Is My Passion.
This is Bacon Is My Podcast.
Whoop whoop.
Have a good night, guys.
Later.
Or day. Or afternoon.
Here's the remote.
Still going.
Off.